Well, another day, another ridiculous ass Kanye stunt. And I guess I gotta be the one to say it. I'm tired of this nigga. I'm done. I'm over it. I mean, ain't y'all tired of it? You ever notice how every time Ye, aka Kanye West, drops an album, he suddenly turns into the most controversial man on earth? It's like clockwork. Right before release, Ye manages to offend every race, religion, and demographic possible on the planet. No, it's not just you. A lot of people have caught on to it. What nobody has ever caught on to is what I'm about to reveal to you. The secret illness he's hiding, that he's never talked about publicly, that is the true driving force behind it. A couple of days ago, though, he went to a new low, even for Kanye. A couple of days ago, he tweeted out that Jay-Z and Beyoncé's youngest children were, and I quote him, retarded. Because he said, I need y'all to know, N-O, no, Jay-Z or nobody have no power over me. That was a reason that was perfectly justified in the great Ye's mind for publicly demeaning someone's kids who said nothing about him and calling them retarded. Then, shocking, what a coincidence, his new album Bully comes out a couple of days later. Then a day later after that, he reached out and offered DJ Academics, who from what I can tell is the most skilled and willing professional dick rider alive, an exclusive immediate interview before Ye flees the country, supposedly fearing for his life. And when Academics and his crew shows up at his hotel for the interview, Kanye answers the door in normal clothes, talks to him for a couple minutes, then he runs into another room and comes back out in a black Ku Klux Klan hood and robe to do the interview. You know, cause free speech. Guess what happened 2 days after that ridiculous nigga Klansman interview, his words not mine, is posted? He drops the insane track list for his new album, World War III, which includes incredibly brilliant, uplifting, and enlightened freedom fighter track titles like Heil Hitler, Free Diddy, and of course, the heartwarming, family-oriented Hitler, Ye, and Jesus. Tyler Perry and Quentin Tarantino's crazy asses on DMT and ketamine couldn't make this shit up. And then, when the inevitable backlash comes, as always, he pulls out the same old tired excuses. I'm bipolar. This just how my mind works. I'm autistic. You just don't get my genius. I'm a free thinker. Y'all just can't handle the truth. It's always that we all don't get either his madness or his genius. And his fans and Kanye stans eat it the up. Every time, hook, line, and swastika covered sinker. I even see some black folks online fall for it, thinking Ye is some brave, revolutionary fighting for free speech and black independent thought, as if rocking a KKK hood and screaming, I love Hitler, is some kind of deep philosophical statement, instead of just a desperate, buffoonish, coonish cry for attention. Look, last time I checked, I never heard MLK, Malcolm X, Frederick Douglass, Harriet Tubman, Shirley Chisholm, or the Black Panthers say anything like any of that shit. Look, let's finally be real, people, because it's way past time to put this Kanye shit to bed. Don't get me wrong, he's definitely got mental problems. That's obvious. But at the core, none of this is really about mental illness. None of this is about free thought. It's not even really about selling his music or merchandise. This is about a man with a raging illness that gives him an all-consuming addiction to the strongest drug known to humankind. A drug with a very low rehabilitation rate. A rehabilitation rate of almost zero. Very shortly, you're going to learn what that drug is. Then you'll understand why for Kanye, outrage is currency, scandal is strategy, and headlines are his heroin, or heroin as we say on the East Coast. Kanye's that little kid that will go further and further acting out until they're even willing to break something that costs you a lot of money and get their ass beat until they get you to look at him. And yes, I know he legally changed his name to Ye, and normally I respect anybody's right to self-determine their own name and what they're called by. But since he doesn't really display respect for anybody else, fuck it. His mama named him Kanye, I'ma call him Kanye. But as the public's only go-to human behavior hacker that's not bought and paid for by Hollywood, the music industry, or some political or media entity, as promised, let me tell you, after fully analyzing him for years now, the real reason behind all this, it's not genius, it's not misunderstood artistry, it's something much darker and twisted about Ye's true psychological makeup. Something much uglier. It's time to put the WTH X-ray on Kanye's ass, and let me show you what he's always been hiding. Let's start with that surreal, bonkers, insane, now infamous Klanhood interview. Now, I'll be honest with you, when I first heard about Kanye's foul, disrespectful, across-the-line tweet about J&B's kids, and then I saw he was doing like an immediate, off-the-cuff interview with DJ Academics, I had every intention of watching it so I could break it down for you fairly, objectively, and with an open mind. And as a forensic human behavior hacker, my goal is always to set aside any biases and analyze people's words and actions based on facts, logic, reason, and evidence, even if it's cringy and I feel like I need to take a shower afterwards. So I went in with the goal to see if underneath all the theatrics, there was actually going to be something of value in what Ye had to say, like a lot of his fans constantly insist is the case. But after watching the full interview, I mean, why? Seriously, why bother? Because what I saw wasn't some genius, misunderstood thinker dropping profound insights. It wasn't a revolutionary voice challenging the system. It wasn't even a coherent, structured conversation. Instead, it was pure, unfiltered, narcissistic word salad. This is what Ye does all the time, trying to sound deep and intelligent, full of attempts to use what my father used to call quasi-logic. Sometimes sounds logical till you actually think it through. The whole damn interview was full of rambling, disconnected thoughts that apparently sound deep to some people till you actually try to logically make sense of them. Full of fake intellectualism where he strings together random, unrelated concepts just to sound profound. Packed from start to finish with his desperate need to be seen as a messiah, as if his delusions of grandeur should be accepted as fact just because he says it. And of course, the classic Kanye victimhood complex, because in his mind, nothing is ever his fault. And let's not forget, he stood there in a fucking black Ku Klux Klan hood and robe while spewing all this nonsense. Man, at this point, do I even need to analyze anything? Because this isn't about logic. It's not about truth. It's not even about real conversation. It's clearly just about attention. The point isn't for Kanye to say something insightful or even to make a point. The point is for people to talk about him, react to him, and keep his name trending. And unfortunately, as a lot of people know but don't want to say, that's maybe become the only thing he's good at anymore. Like I said, none of this is new. This is part of a cycle and formula Ye's been on for damn near the last 10 years. So let's go ahead and take a little trip down memory lane and let me show you. Because once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. Every single time Kanye West does or says something that makes the world stop and scream, he's conveniently got something to sell. It all started back in 2016 when Ye walked into Trump Tower like he was about to drop a collab album with Kid Rock on Breitbart Records. Remember that absolutely bonkers press conference thing with Donald Trump at the White House where he reached across the Resolute desk and hugged Trump and told him, "You could be my daddy," and made sure the cameras caught every second of it? Then he followed it up with his infamous dumbass "slavery was a choice" and Harriet Tubman moment on TMZ. Remember that? And the result? Non-stop headlines, viral outrage, and oh wow, would you look at that? His album Ye came out right after. Remember his specially redesigned MAGA hat and when he suddenly became besties with Candace Owens? Tweeting, "I like how Candace Owens think." The right-wing influencers rushed in to defend him. MAGA was injuring themselves all over America, awkwardly trying to dance to Kanye music, their new favorite Negro truth teller. And Kanye was in heaven, sucking up all the oxygen, all the attention, and all the headlines. But then he flipped out when Candace claimed he helped design the goofy-ass looking logo for her so-called Blexit movement and suddenly disavowed her as quote-unquote trying to use him for his influence. Why? Because Kanye's ego couldn't be tied to anything he considered ugly. It wasn't about politics or his deeply held beliefs about what was best for people. It was about ego and branding. As always, all about Kanye. Then came his religious era. Remember this? Ye suddenly wasn't just a rapper, he was a prophet. He started holding his so-called Sunday service events, claiming he left behind secular music. And you know what they say in the African American community, and if you don't, I'm gonna tell you, all right? If you fuck up with black people and you need to get them back, tell them you found God and turn to the church. Remember R. Kelly's "Heaven, I Need a Hug" after he got caught on a video hugging and peeing on a 14-year-old. But if you look closely, these Sunday services weren't really about Jesus or God. They were about Kanye. The entire set list, Kanye songs remixed into gospel. And the videos of the services, choirs surrounding Kanye while he bopped his head to his own tracks and played his MPC sampler like a DJ at a strip club, or a cat providing the beats in a rap cipher. And guess what happened right after he convinced millions of Christians that he was their new spiritual leader? Boom! His gospel album, Jesus is King, dropped. He even dropped a crazy, weird-ass Jesus is King film that nobody but Harkon and a couple other people saw. Sorry, I gotta do like that for research. It is what it is. And even though Jesus is King was, musically speaking, clearly one of the weakest projects of his career, his new Christian and gospel fans pushed it to debut at number 1. Kanye vowed he was done with secular music and going forward would only put out Christian hip-hop because he'd gone through a quote-unquote new birth experience. Because Ye wasn't selling music anymore. He was selling a Jesus-based spiritual movement. And that's what his especially black Christian fans were buying. Of course, that only lasted a few years before he dropped Donda and Donda 2, and strangely his new birth experience had apparently worn off. He was back to the same old shit he was always doing. But if you thought things couldn't get worse, think again. We're talking about Kanye here. By late 2022, Kanye decided to go full white supremacist villain. He started ranting about how he loves hit on podcasts, going so far as to defend literal Nazis. And just when people thought he couldn't sink any lower, he doubled down on it over and over. Then in October 2022, Ye showed up at a surprise fashion show during Paris Fashion Week with famed right-wing grifter and disinformation agent Candace Owens, infamously known as the chick who looks like a Get Out maid in her own baby shower picture, wearing matching White Lives Matter t-shirts that had, for some reason, a picture of Pope John Paul II on the front. I don't know what's up with that. Next, though, in late 2023, he went on his anti-Semitic tour phase, posting that he was about to wake up and go, quote-unquote, DEFCON 3 on the Jews and other divisive bullshit like that. Of course, this was a month before he dropped his Vultures 2 album in January 2024. Then came his Super Bowl ad in February 2024, Black History Month. Did Ye take this moment to reflect or backtrack or apologize or try to uplift his people or even rebuild his brand? Nope. He ran a Super Bowl ad directing people to his merch website that featured a single t-shirt with a swastika printed on the front for sale. And guess what? People went crazy talking about it. Kanye knew exactly what he was doing, turning controversy into clicks and clicks into dollars and attention. And I left some stuff out, but you get the picture. It's on and on, over and over, leading right up to the absolutely unacceptable punk-ass diss of Jay-Z and Beyoncé's children and the insane, bizarre, coonish academics interview a couple days ago. And again, after the Klan Hood interview, surprise, surprise, just 2 days later, he announced his new album, World War III, with the even more extreme, goofy track titles I told you about earlier. Like clockwork, outrage meant to turn into headlines, headlines meant to turn into streams, streams meant to turn into attention. Even his lyrics are part of the act. He has lines on the new WW3 release about how his wife, Bianca Censori, has apparently left him because of his offensive rants, right after she tried to have him committed, which for some reason Ye can't seem to understand why people close to him keep trying to have his ass committed. Which, look, whether all that is true or not, it's fuel for more drama, for more attention. Basically, here's Ye's playbook. Step 1, say something insane, bonus points if it offends the entire planet. Step 2, ride the backlash, let the media do their thing. Step 3, drop a new project, albums, merch, whatever keeps the cash and attention flowing. Step 4, this is important, play the victim, act like it was all misunderstood. And then step 5, Rinse and repeat. At this point, Kanye isn't even worried about gaining new fans or keeping his loyal ones. He's fine with just churning them. See, he doesn't really need loyalty. He just needs people to pay attention. For him, it doesn't matter if they love him or hate him, as long as they're talking about him. Which leads us to what I promised you in the very beginning. The peeling back and revealing of the dark, twisted aspects of Ye's true, hidden psychological disorder that drives his seemingly crazy-ass words and actions. Bottom line, let me tell you the real reason Ye is Ye. And it's not autism or bipolar disorder.